Alright, so here's breakfast. We have mushrooms, spinach, 3 eggs, and then this is like about a 1/4 cup of almonds. And then I have watermelon if I want it. These almonds are stale and not my favorite. I'm gonna have a few of these. I'm really trying to treat my body with kindness, and when I have something unlimited like this big thing of watermelon, that's just a huge portion that obviously isn't meant to be eaten in one sitting, I in the past have had tendencies to be able to just keep going just because it's there, clean your plate club mentality, like just push past the feeling of fullness because no real reason sometimes, right? I think there was a point in my life where there was a real reason. It was kind of like this intrinsic need or biological need to keep eating because I was restricting so heavily, but now I don't. A little bit of it is just habitual and just an urge. The goal was to not plate the watermelon and to keep it where it was and just to stop when I was feeling satisfied, and I feel pretty satisfied. I just had a few pieces, and if I'm being completely honest, if I kept going, I feel like I would be pushing past the point of comfortability. Right now I feel really comfortable. So I'm going to close this watermelon. You saw in the background, I was watching Bailey Sarian. If you guys don't watch Bailey Sarian, it's Murder, Mystery, and Makeup Monday. Amazing, I love it. You need to watch it, okay? All right, I think I'm done now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lena. I am a nutritionist and health coach. I should probably sit down. Today we're talking all about why I'm taking a 30-day scale break for the first time probably in my entire life. We're also adding in a full day of eating so you guys can see where I'll be focusing my attention in terms of my healthy habits and behaviors the next 30 days. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe. I recently shared on Instagram that I'm taking a 30-day scale break, and if you guys know anything about me, I do like the scale. I actually recommend the scale for people who are either scared of it, just have a general fear of the scale, or for people who are looking to see sustainable weight loss. It just makes sense, right? It's a tool of measurement just like anything else. You've been following me on Instagram for a while. You also know that I did have, and I do have, a very small weight loss goal, about 5 pounds. In the last maybe 5 to 6 months, I've been sitting at the higher end of my maintenance range, which honestly I don't hate, but I know that I got there through extra bites, tastes, and likes, and sometimes overeating when I don't want to. And those feelings and habits and behaviors in and of themselves, I don't love. And so the weight loss goal kind of stemmed from wanting to dial those in and all that good stuff. I decided this time to obviously implement my own healthy habit weight loss techniques, including fluffing with veggies at 3 meals, sips not chips in moments of boredom or emotional desires to eat or snack, and overall mindful eating. However, I also chose to bring in the help of one of the best in the field, from Rachel, or the college nutritionist. She has a PhD in nutrition and does a great job on the mindset and behavior change of it all. She approaches weight loss from a very real but healthy way. I chose to explore her approach because of her ability to dial in more on urges around food and that impulsive behavior, right? So whenever I have an extra bite, taste, or lick, or eat past fullness, it's typically from an urge, right? I'm definitely not underfed. I do a great job of keeping balanced meals throughout the day, and it's typically just, it's there, so I eat it, right? A little bit habitual, a little bit situational, environmental, those different things play a role. So I found it very helpful to go external and find somebody else who could help me and really just have a different perspective, but also accountability. Rachel's approach, her program is called Best Body, and I do really like it, but it also encourages calorie counting. So I did this, which I don't typically do with my clients. Now I do recommend calorie awareness and understanding what our calorie needs are and what that generally looks like without diving too deep into calorie counting every single day, but hers is a very planned, thoughtful method of calorie counting. I did that for a few weeks and I actually did enjoy it. It was fine. And the way that she encourages you to calorie count is to plan the day ahead. I know what a deficit looks like for me. I know what a maintenance looks like for me, and
Could you try again?
Oh, Siri just started talking. Holy guacamole. That scared the heckin' ball out of me. I know what a deficit looks like for me. I know what a maintenance looks like for me. And I know what a surplus looks like for me. So calorie counting it was helpful at first just to get, again, a general idea. But it wasn't something I needed to do for the long term. And most people don't. I did that for a little bit. It was fine. It actually didn't cause me any stress or anxiety. It was what it was. I, did it and then I moved on. I always, my entire life, I mean, from as long as I can remember, have always stepped on the scale. I remember, like hitting the 100-pound mark when I was very, very young. And I remember always talking about weight with my siblings and everything. I mean, the scale has never been a scary thing for me. I've never had fear attached to it. Now I have used it as a tool to see okay, where are my habits leading me and do I like it, right? Again, I know where my body is happy and where my habits are good, and I know what number that is on the scale too. So when I see it go up or past that number range, it's typically because of my habits and behaviors not making me feel 110%. For me, that number is directly correlated with my habits and behaviors and how they make me feel. Let's talk about where the negative part has come in recently, or just the challenging part, right? Not necessarily negative. I think it's positive, and I think it's good for me to experience this because, again, experiencing feelings like this that I haven't felt before always help me to better relate to my clients. In the last couple of days, and I won't even say couple of weeks, so that hasn't been that long, but in the last couple of days, I've found myself feeling anxious the moment I wake up. So from the moment I wake up, I'm anxious to step on the scale. And that's very unlike me. And that anxiety has been coming with me to bed. So, and the scale would it sits right outside my bathroom, right on the floor. So it was something that I would see several times a day, which again, never bothered me, never triggered me, never whatever. But lately I've been stepping on it several times a day, before I use the bathroom, after I use the bathroom, I've only done when I was younger in my teens, and it was never for a long period of time. But it's never caused me the stress and anxiety it's caused me recently. It was only a few days. It was a very short period of time, but I'm choosing to step back and take a 30-day break from the scale and instead focus on my habits and behaviors. And this was truly only triggered by one or maybe two moments of slightly eating past the point of comfortability. And it was, and before this, again, the last 2 months that I've been on this kind of more focused weight loss, or whatever you want to call it, dialed in kind of behaviors, things have been going really good, and I haven't had a day of overeating, and it's been great. But I was baking, and I was having, I haven't baked in a while, and I was licking the thing, and I went to bed feeling uncomfortable. And I'm not going to sugarcoat how uncomfortable I felt. I think we've all felt this way before, but it was pretty uncomfortable, and I feel very vulnerable right now. And it's as a health coach and a nutritionist who helps people get past these feelings, it's not fun to talk about mine when I haven't felt it in so long. Again, we all go through, ebbs and flows, and that's fine, right? We don't do a 180 overnight. So it was literally 2 moments of eating past fullness where the scale really triggered me, because I was down a very healthy 3 pounds. And then, 1 day of overeating or 2 nights of overeating can easily pop that number right back up 3 pounds, right? So it was 2 months of bringing that number down 3 pounds, and then 2 days, or what it felt like, 2 nights of that number popping back up. Listen, a fluctuation, something I'm very familiar with on the scale. It's not a foreign idea for me to see the scale go up 3 pounds overnight, right? And when you're stepping on the scale your whole life, you see every fluctuation possible. That feeling was causing me anxiety, and a lot of it. And another thing that led to this feeling of anxiety was body comparison, where I'm scrolling through Instagram and I'm looking at all the nutritionists out there. I'm going to be completely transparent, really, really honest with you guys right now. I follow so many people in my field. I would say 80% of the people I follow are people in my field, right? Professionals in my field, nutritionists, dietitians, health coaches. Many of them are very, very thin. And listen, I'm happy with my body. I am. And if I stayed at this weight for the rest of my life, I would be very content. I've sat here before, all of my clothes still fit me. Like there's nothing dramatic happening here. It's really interesting the way that I've been body comparing lately, and really looking at others and saying, wow, they're so thin. Why can't I just be 5 pounds thinner? Why, you know, all these different things. My legs are so big. My arms aren't as lean as they used to be. You know, seeing myself back in a picture and thinking like that picture just looks terrible versus like, you know, a post picture of myself that I'm taking over and over again for an Instagram photo versus a photo that's taken of me candidly. And I see those two photos back side by side and I'm like, what in the heck and Bob is going on, right? Those are two completely different people. The second I started feeling that and recognized where that feeling, that anxiety was coming from, which again is not a common feeling for me, I took my scale, I went onto Instagram and I said, hey, I'm taking a 30-day scale break. I took my scale, I gave it to a friend, and I was like, take this out of my house. Actually, I put my scale in the closet, and then I told a friend, and my friend was like, give me the scale, I'm gonna put it at my house. So, so that you aren't tempted to step on it, which honestly, I didn't think I needed, but I have woken up the last 2 mornings tempted to just be like, all right, what the heck is going on? All right, so that's my why, that's why I got here. Now let's talk about what I'm gonna do to overcome this anxiety. So first off and foremost, I feel like it's very important to say this. My faith is really important to me. I am Muslim, and I really do believe that with God by your side, and you can, you know, you can do anything and you can achieve anything. And if you ask God for assistance and help and guidance, He'll give it to you. So first off and foremost, I am asking God for guidance on this journey, and that's the thing that I think is going to help me best, especially when it comes to mental health, anxiety. I really don't think that there's anything that can help me more than God, right? The second thing I'm doing is I am really dialing in on my gratitude every single morning and really shifting. So my gratitude, when I journal gratitude, it's typically like all the different things I'm grateful for, but I never bring it back. I mean, I'll say like my feet for walking, my legs for whatever. You know, I'm grateful to be able to have the ability to go for the walks that I love every day and lift and all these different things, but never really, you know, cared to give my body any love or whatever. But truly, I've started to really dial in on that gratitude of my body, of my legs, right? My thighs that I always say are gigantic because they are very strong legs. They are definitely strong legs. So I've decided to start to bring gratitude to my strength, which I've always heard people talk about, but never really felt like it was something that I needed to really be grateful for. But lately I have, because it's something that I've wanted so badly to shrink very recently. So I'm bringing gratitude back there. And again, it's not like I'm not writing off weight loss as a goal. And it's definitely something that I would like to see happen just for a different why, right? Instead of just shrinking, I want it to happen with body kindness, which we're really giving my body what it wants and needs and not giving it more than that, right? So giving it what it wants and needs, I'm really good at that, right? I feed it, I honor cravings mindfully, I balance plates, and I always make sure there's enough nutrients and protein and carbs and fat and all that stuff. So I'm not worried about that, but also not giving it more than what it needs. This is more what I have always kind of battled with. And I think a lot of us do. And while recently it has not been a struggle, I would say, or at least for a lot of my journey, it hasn't been a huge problem. More recently, it's not been a huge problem, but when it does happen, and if it does happen, there's an immense amount of guilt around it. So I really just want to bring more intentionality to this. Number 3, I've started reading this book that I've had for a long time. Let me go get it. I was gifted this book probably a couple years ago now. I'm really excited to actually dial into it and start reading it. So if you've heard of the intuitive eating movement or things like that, you've probably been welcomed with the idea of rejecting weight loss and welcoming in body kindness or body neutrality, saying no to dieting and all these different things. However, I do take a very practical approach, and I do understand that people do want weight loss, and that's okay, right? Just the same way we do our makeup and our hair, it's okay to want to feel like the best version of yourself and the healthiest version of yourself. And if that means pursuing weight loss, I don't see why not. I'm taking this book and reading this with the mindset that treating my body with kindness also comes with, you know, one of the biggest things is not overeating. That is the worst feeling for me. I hate that feeling. So that is where this is coming from. And if I can dial in all those habits, then I do think naturally, you know, my body will get back to its healthy set point weight, which is a few pounds less than what I'm at now. However, I'm going to do that without dialing in on the scale every single day, without checking in on the scale every moment that I can, because it's just not necessary, to be quite honest with you. And my habits and behaviors. So more than anything else, I really hate the feeling of overeating. It is not something I enjoy. I'm not a fan of impulsive urges to have bites, tastes, and licks. It's not a habit I want to have. So that's my next focus. That's my most important, well, not the most important, but in a very important focus in the next 30 days without the scale and beyond that. And again, it's small stuff, but it's like when it does happen, it's brought immense guilt. So that is the last thing I'm aiming to do. In this video, I've chosen to also attach a full day of eating because I want to show you my thought process and the plan that I make in my, for myself when I'm on this journey. It's an experiment to explore this other philosophy, right? This other world of very intuitive eating and body kindness, which I've always rejected to some extent. I've always welcomed many of the fundamental practices of it because I do believe in a lot of them, but I've rejected it to its fullest. And to some extent, I still am rejecting it to its fullest, right? Because I still am welcoming weight loss open-mindedly. With all that being said, I'll take you back to breakfast. I have been working for the last few hours and I'm done now. Well, I'm not done. I'm done for lunch now. Oh, so bright. The lighting. Not starving, but it's important to me that I eat like right before I get too hungry. But like, yeah, I could definitely eat, but I'm not starving. But it's definitely lunchtime. I know if I don't eat now, I will be hungry. So I just recorded like this zucchini thing for TikTok and for a reel. So that's what I'm gonna be eating for lunch today. And then I have leftover salmon that I have been eating all week, and it's just come in handy as like a decent meal prep. I know some people don't like eating fish as leftover, but I am not a picky eater. I really don't care. I prefer convenience. Sometimes we eat ugly meals. This is a salmon and this is zucchini with tomato sauce. I will probably also have this cookie, half of it. Took the other half of the cookie and I put this little white chocolate guy on top and I'm gonna microwave it and it's gonna come out super delicious. Just watch, I think it is. I'm gonna love it. Oh my stinking goodness. This is now lunch. So I finished lunch and I'm definitely full and satisfied. I feel really good. I have to go run a couple errands and then do some more work. One thing I want to add before I forget, I have a lot of full-length mirrors around my house. Not a lot, I have two. I mean, it's a really small place, but like this whole thing. So every time I go to the bathroom, which is a lot, I have a full-length mirror to look at. And then I come here and I have a little mirror. But still, everywhere I go, I have a full-length mirror. And I feel like ever since moving here, that has caused, maybe like, I feel like maybe that is part of why I've been like body checking so much and where some of the negative self-image came from, is like just seeing myself in every angle, every single day, all the time. And it's a lot. So I feel like that could have also played a role. So now I'm trying to be more mindful when I walk past all of my full-length mirrors of like what I say in my head when I do that. Like, is it a constant like micro thoughts that are adding up to more negative thoughts? And I'm trying to just be more cognizant of that. So if I do walk by and I'm like, oh, my arms look big, right? Trying to change that mindset and adjust, or not even look every single time that I walk past. So okay, I'm ready to go. The little cake that I made for my nephew. I grab an RX bar just because I think I'm gonna be out for hours. It's just there if I want it. I don't know if I'll want it, we'll find out. I like to be practical and I like to be prepared. So I like to always have something with me just in case. Okay, bye, I have to go. I'm done running errands and I'm on my way to my mom's for our family Friday night dinner, and it's my nephew's birthday, so we'll also be celebrating that. And I didn't eat my snack, I wasn't really hungry for it, and because dinner is so early, it's at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, I will not be having my snack. Now I'm getting hungry, but not hungry enough for my snack when I'm going to dinner right now. And now I'm gonna put the camera away because lights are changing. I am at my mom's house for a normal Friday dinner, and we're also celebrating my nephew's birthday. And I made my nephew's birthday cake. I also made the same cake for my brother literally 2 days ago for his birthday, so I just had some. And the things feeling great lately are when I overeat in social settings for literally no reason, just because it's habitual and the food is there and used to picking at things. So Today I made a plan before I got here to be very intentional about that. I had 2 pieces of pizza, which felt really comfortable, and then I went back for some Greek yogurt to give me a protein that felt a little bit more satisfying because I feel like I wasn't fully satisfied off of that pizza. Now I am going to brush my teeth and put my bottom retainer in, and this is going to help me prevent from like bites, tastes, and licks that don't feel great and are necessary. And the reason that I'm doing this is I know that this was like an eating disorder behavior. Some people call it that. I disagree, at least with the reason I'm using it. I'm using it as a way to change a habit, right? It's been very difficult to break. So I feel like I need a barrier to help me break that habit. I was able to like breathe through the urges that came forward when I was like cutting my nephew's cake, to take like mindless bites that didn't feel good. So that was great. I really liked that. And I'm really happy with the way that felt. And again, that was just being more mindful, allowing urges to pass and not acting impulsively, and really bringing it back to what makes me feel good. So that was really, really nice. So now I'm just gonna pop my bottom retainer in and enjoy the rest of the night, focusing on so much more than food. I am full and satisfied, and I don't feel like I'm restricting by any means. So I am home and ready for bed. I didn't want to talk too much about my decisions at my mom's house mostly just because it was a birthday party and I didn't want to be talking to the camera. And I like to respect the privacy of my family and not put everybody else on the camera if that's not what they want, especially with a ton of little kids running around. But now I am back home. I know that for some people, doing something like putting your retainer in can be very triggering to, help you stop eating or whatever it might be. For me, I know that I can always pop my retainer out at any given moment, and it's not something I do often, but in a moment like, when I have a habit of reaching and touching for things that I truly don't want, it really is very instinctual, habitual, and it happens on autopilot. When things like that are happening, the retainer in my mouth is a very good, it's not even a thought in my head when my retainer is in my mouth. So it helps take that mental energy off of me, so I'm not constantly making decisions. First of all, I didn't put it in until I was full and satisfied and had, 2 pieces of pizza that made me feel full. I added some Greek yogurt to that meal to increase the filling factor. There's no protein with that pizza, and after I had my 2 pieces, I felt like, if I don't have protein, I will definitely feel very hungry soon after, so let me add some Greek yogurt. I had veggies, I had fiber, so there was a lot of practical nutrition in there, and there was also just, living life and eating the pizza. I was definitely full and satisfied, and that cake that I made for my nephew just happened to have also made for my brother 2 days ago and ate 2 days ago. I wasn't really in the mood for it. So when I put my retainer in, it was after I had already made a very intentional choice that I was full and satisfied, not hungry, there was nothing else I wanted there. So it was really just to help me break the habit, right? The same way that you might put nail polish on your nails to help you stop biting your nails, that's what the retainer did, right? It was really just to break a habit. They say in order to break a habit, there are several different things you can do, but one of them is to make that habit unattractive. And you can do that with your mindset, right? So you can say, when I mindlessly snack or eat, it makes me feel terrible, and associate that habit with a very negative feeling, and then you have just made that unattractive. Now, another way that you can do that is create a barrier that is physically, quite literally unattractive, so that putting this retainer in my mouth, like eating, would just be such an unpleasant experience with this in my mouth. It makes the habit of picking unattractive. There's a lot of opportunity for bites, tastes, and licks, and constant reminders and mental energy to remind myself what feels good. That's a lot. That's a lot of decision making, and an extended period of time. These dinners last hours, So, and the food often sits out on the counter for the whole time that we are together. It's not like a you can't eat eating disorder behavior by any means. It's I want to break this habit that doesn't feel good to me. There's a much more positive association and feeling around not doing that, and how I feel when I go home at night and I feel good. I feel very normal and I don't feel stuffed. I love that feeling. And I definitely do not recommend that anybody who is battling an eating disorder or disordered eating behaviors and is in the worst of it and thinks that this, popping a mouth guard or retainer in is going to make it worse. I definitely don't recommend that, especially for people it's not a weight loss tool for me, right? Like, I'm not using this as a weight loss tool by any means, and I don't want it to be. I'm eating fully what my body needs. I mean, if I was to estimate calories today, I would estimate it at a maintenance. It is solely a way that I'm getting more intentional about shifting one habit. That's all. So by eating a nourishing breakfast and a nourishing lunch and a nourishing dinner, right? Whether that's through a perfect balanced plate of fat, fiber, and protein, or a kind of more fun plate of half a plate of salad, but also 2 slices of pizza, right? Whether it's through this or that, and likely best a combination of both. The ultimate goal is habits and behaviors that you stand behind, that make you feel really good, that you can live the rest of your life having. And this whole no scale challenge, it's about that. It's about my habits and behaviors. It's about finding other things about me that make me me. As a nutritionist, there is, and someone who's, you know, I'm not huge on social media by any means, but still I feel like I have eyes on me every single day, and it can feel like pressure to stay in a certain body in order to be good in my field. I don't write off weight loss as a goal. I think that's a fair goal for a lot of people. I think it's practical and okay to dial into that. I personally just needed a break. 90% of the time, 95, 98, 99% of the time, what feels best to your body is not overeating. And if we have tendencies and habits to overeat, when you stop, it is likely that you'll lose weight, right? You're no longer overeating. Why wouldn't you lose, or at least maintain, but why wouldn't you lose? Now, it's not guaranteed, but I do think it's likely. I hope that makes sense. I would really love to know your thoughts about this one. I definitely don't want to be triggering to anybody, and I do want to remind you guys that every person's journey is so different, and this is why I love personal one-on-one coaching, because it can really be catered to what is for you. And I think working with a certified nutritionist or registered dietitian is so important, one-on-one, to really dial in. I mean, I have group coaching as well, which is amazing, but is really important to really catering things to what you need in that moment, even on that day, right? Building a plan that works for you. So anyways, I will pop my link to apply for coaching in the description box below. Other than that, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, I would love to hear your thoughts about this video in the comments below. Please let me know. Let me know if you'll be joining me on this 30-day no scale challenge. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and share it out with anybody that you think could benefit from this as well. All right, I will see you soon. Have a good day. Thanks for sticking around, guys. Bye.